shout, shout. I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna shout, praise the Lord. When those gates are open wide, I'm gonna sit on Jesus' side. I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna shout, praise the Lord. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, oh Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in, this train is bound for glory. 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 I'm gonna sing, sing, sing. I'm gonna shout, shout, shout. I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna shout, praise the Lord. Those gates are open wide. I'm gonna sit at Jesus' side. I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna shout, praise the Lord. I like papayas. I think the mangoes are sweet. I like papayas. Nothing can beat the sweet love of God. I was walking around the country, miles and down, trying to get the rhythm to my heavenly Father. The world tastes sweet, but then it goes sour. I like bananas. I think the mangoes are sweet. I like papayas. Papayas! But nothing can beat the sweet love of God. Humble thyself in the sight of the Lord. Humble thyself in the sight of the Lord, and He shall lift you up higher and higher, and He shall lift you up. Kneel and pray in the sight of the Lord. Kneel and pray in the sight of the Lord, and He shall lift you up higher and higher, and He shall lift you up. Sing a new song in the sight of the Lord. Sing a new song in the sight of the Lord, and He shall lift you up higher and higher, and He shall lift you up. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above. Wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above. Wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God.
If you really pray, God will answer your prayer.
Ivel is a 10-year-old boy who lives in Mongolia. When he was 5 years old, he moved from Mongolia to the Philippines. His father needed to study at a university in the Philippines. Ivel also needed to study, so his parents sent him to the first grade. School was very difficult for him. The teacher and all the other children spoke in English. Ivel understood very little English. After school, the boys teased him as he waited for his ride home. "You can't do anything," one boy said. "You can't even write." said another boy. Go to kindergarten. When he heard these hurtful words, Ivel ran back into the school and hid behind the door of his classroom. He didn't want to cry in front of the other children. That night, when Ivel went to bed, he wanted to kneel and pray to God for help, but he was afraid that if his mother saw him praying, she would ask him what he was praying about. Ivel didn't want his mother to worry, so he woke up in the middle of the night when his parents were sound asleep and quietly prayed to God. Please let me go to another school and make friends, he prayed. Ivel prayed nearly every night for several months. Then his parents suddenly decided to send him to a different school. The children at his new school were kind. They helped him learn to speak English. When he hurt his leg playing soccer, the other boys helped him walk home. Ivel was so happy that God had answered his prayer about going to a new school. Before he prayed about his school troubles, Ivel had never asked God for anything. He had even wondered whether God really exists. Ivel went to church every Sabbath, but he wondered how God could create the world with just his words. But ever since his prayers were answered, he believes that God is real. Ivel is now in the 5th grade, and he lives back in his home country of Mongolia, but he has never forgotten how God answered his prayers. Ivel has many friends in Mongolia, but many of them come from families who don't know about God. Please pray for the only Adventist school in Mongolia. Your mission offerings have helped this school grow and teach more and more students about God.
Boys and girls, and welcome to Kids Camp Creation Crafts. We're so excited that you're here to join us to do some crafts. We love crafts, do you? I'm your host, Miss Susie.
I'm Mr. Ryan, and we're just so excited that you're here, and we have a whole audience full of kids. You guys ready to make some crafts here? Yeah! I'm gonna let you in a little secret. We're kind of scientists, so sometimes our crafts have a nice science ring to them. So we're going to do that, and we have some helpers. We have some referees who are going to join us. They're going to help with the microphones and help the kids do some of the crafts. It's always great to have a lot of good help. So we're going to follow some directions and make a neat craft. What are we going to make today, Miss Susie?
All right. Well, today we are going to make some homemade lava lamps. Ooh. Now, it doesn't look like much right now, but we'll show you at the end what it does. What is the Bible verse?
Yeah, so here in Creation Crafts, we want to tie our craft in with a Bible verse, with Scripture, so that we can remember those important words when we see that craft. And we've chosen Psalms 141, verse 2, which says, "Let my prayer be like incense offered up before you, and my uplifted hands like a sacrifice." This is David who's praying, and he's saying his prayers are going up like incense. So kids, we're going to think about that verse when we see this craft in action. Oh, I think it's time to start making this craft. Can you lead us through?
I sure can. Are we ready to start crafting? Yeah! All right. This one is pretty simple. It just uses a few ingredients. So first we're going to take a bottle and we're going to take our cap off.
Well, that's a pretty small opening there, Miss Susie.
It is a small opening. Now you can use any sort of shaped bottle. The tall, skinny ones are really fun. You can get the ones that kind of do an hourglass. Those are really fun too. All right, so now what I need you to do is take this unusual looking thing. What is this? Anybody up here know?
It's like something that you undo, and it's like you can pour liquids into it and hold it over like this.
Very good.
Very good.
Does anybody know the name of this? Okay, right here, Christiana.
A funnel?
Very good. This is a funnel. It helps you to pour liquids. That's very important because notice that the opening of the bottle was very small. So what is the funnel helping you to do?
Pour it in.
What's it doing to the opening? What do you think?
It's
Making it smaller.
It's sitting in the opening.
Yeah. Now notice the top.
It's wider than the opening.
Ah, it's much wider. That's all a funnel does is make your small opening a lot bigger. It's nice to have a few funnels around when you're pouring liquids.
That's right. This will help us. So we have some collapsible ones. So kids, I need you to pop it up. And then you can place it right over your bottle. It'll fit nice and neat right there.
Nice.
All right. The first ingredient we're going to pour, kids, who knows what this is?
Oil.
Oil, that's
Ah,
right.
But what kind of oil is it? Wow, we got so many different
Anyone
answers.
have an answer? Do we have a mic over there?
Okay, let's come down here to Cadence.
All right, Cadence, let's see. What does Cadence say this is?
Vegetable oil.
Vegetable oil. It is vegetable oil. Okay, now what I'd like you to do, make sure you have a hand on your bottle. That way it doesn't tip, and on your funnel. And we're going to go
Yep.
ahead and pour all of that in. Now we're using a 16-ounce bottle or 2 cups. So what you need to do is pour in enough oil so that you're getting about half the bottle to 2/3 full of the oil.
We might need a little bit more oil back here. Some of the oil came out.
We've definitely got some
Hannah
more
was
oil.
doing an experiment that I like to do, and it's watch the air trap some of that. We'll just pour in a little bit extra. Do we have some paper towels? I think we might. Oh, that's fine. You did the same thing. Oh, that's
Here's
fine.
some oil so we can clean
Great,
up our
you
spill
can-
there.
No problem. I actually like getting a little messy. That means we're doing
That's
some
right.
good
That
science.
means we're
We'll
doing
just put
some
that
good
out there.
stuff, right?
Some vegetable oil.
All right. Okay, now after you've done your oil, go ahead and put your funnel back on there because we're going to need it for, who knows what this is? Water. Just good old water.
Pour slowly.
right.
I think if you pour too fast, the air doesn't have a chance to get out of the bottle.
That's right. So we're going to go ahead and pour. Make sure you hold your bottle so they don't tip over. All right, now, so we fill our
Ooh,
bottle
nice.
halfway to 2/3 full of vegetable oil. And the rest of the way you fill up with water, and you want to leave a little bit of a gap, about 1 inch to 1.5 inches at the top.
They do not mix.
Oh, Cadence said something very interesting.
Water and oil don't mix.
That is correct.
Wow,
They
you
are,
must have some really smart parents who teach you these things. Oh, okay.
That
All
is
right.
very good. So you can kind of see how it separates. If you want, go ahead and pull your funnel out and you can set it to the side. I don't know if you can see that. How we have the water layer is now at the bottom. Even though we poured it in last, it's making its way to the bottom. And we have the oil on
I
the
wonder
top.
if anybody knows why the water went to the bottom. Why didn't it float onto the top? Let's ask Noah.
Because water and oil don't mix.
Okay, but why didn't the water float on top? Well, let's ask this guy.
Because water is more dense than oil.
Water is more dense than oil. We have some smart kids here.
We do have some smart kids here at Kids Camp. Way to go, kids.
Yeah,
That's right.
he's related to a scientist.
Okay, now the next step that I want you to do, you have several different colors of food coloring. This is just a regular grade food coloring. Pick whatever color you would like. Right here.
Ooh, that looks like
We're
it's
gonna,
yellow.
now just be careful that when you take
So
it
it
off
looks
that it
orange,
doesn't
but it's actually
squeeze
yellow.
and pour everywhere. This is green. Now
That
what
is
I'd
kind of
like
a
you
red
to
color.
do,
It doesn't matter. If you guys want to make a different color, you can mix two things together. What if you wanted to make purple? What two colors can you
red.
mix? Blue and red. Very good. So go ahead and start putting some drops. How many
all
drops,
right.
Miss
Okay,
Susie?
yes, we are gonna put 10 drops of food coloring in. Now as we do it, you'll see it start to float to the bottom.
What's happening to the drops, kids? Wow. They are sinking down. I bet it has to do with the same answer that we heard before. It's more dense, and so it
We get some
sinks
blue
down
and
to the
red
bottom.
over here for
This part right here is a lot of fun. Oh, you dropped one. Okay. Oh, very good. Get some more drops in there.
All right, Miss Cadence, can you drop those in there?
Oh, you did?
Let's see. 10 drops. We're gonna put 10 drops of food coloring. Can we borrow
Yeah, you
the
can
red?
do a couple more drops in there.
That would be great.
All right, has everybody got the colors that they
you.
like?
Go ahead and do 5
Oh,
drops
that's
of that,
perfect.
actually.
Oh, sure.
That's okay. And
There
you
you
can
go.
do more, that's fine. That's
We do
all
have
good.
some glue. We'll get it over here.
All right.
All right, you guys are doing a wonderful job here. And when I say wonderful job, I don't see too much of a mess here. That's great. Wow.
All right.
Let's keep it that way.
Okay,
Although
now,
getting messy. Let's listen to Miss Susie.
does everybody see this little white tablet? All right, this is when the fun happens. And what I'd like you to do is go ahead and break it. This is just an Alka-Seltzer tablet. If you go ahead and break it in half, and then drop it in. Now it's important that you leave the cap off for the whole process. Now as you put it in,
Nope, just put one piece in. Go ahead and break your Alka-Seltzer tablet.
I don't know if you can see all these bubbles coming up.
I want to go down here and see what these guys are doing. Wow.
My food coloring is not really
That is
dispersing.
making bubbles.
Look at that.
That's fine, that's fine. Wow, you are doing
Yeah, she has some red and blue bubbles in there. Can you see that?
Can anybody help us understand what's going on here? What are these things that are going up inside the... It's mixing it, but what is it? Why are they going up? Who knows? Who can figure out what these bubbles are?
Oh, we
What do
have
you
a
think?
hand over
Here
here.
we go, let's ask,
Yes,
let's
let's
ask
grab
Ben.
the mic.
Because of the reaction.
Uh-huh. So what are the bubbles made of? Do you have any idea? Boy, I wish we had a chemist here or a scientist that we can ask. Does anybody know? Where is there a scientist? Where?
There he is.
What? Yeah, I know this. I'm a chemist and I study these reactions here. Those are bubbles of carbon dioxide. Can you guys say carbon dioxide?
Carbon dioxide.
Oh, you guys are already becoming chemists. It's a gas and it floats up to the top. And it brings the water and the color with it. Wow.
Now, if yours stops bubbling, we can keep the fun going by dropping your other half in there. Do it again and you'll get more bubbles. Yep,
Now,
so
boys and girls, it's very important that you do not put the cap on when you are doing this experiment here. That gas can build up and pop the lid off or doing an explosion, okay? Did you do that before? See, he knows. Hopefully nobody got hurt. Wow, let's see what you guys got going over here. What
Oh,
color
you've got
did you
some
do?
big bubbles there. Let's see back here. What do we have going on? Why don't we put this up this way so we can see it?
Nice. I thought I saw some. What do we got
Very
going over here?
nice.
Wow, those are huge bubbles. You must have put a big piece in there. Wow. All right, when these bubbles stop, we can think of some other experiments to do with this lava lamp thing. There's a lot of fun things you can do. Boys and girls, I want to ask you, what other kind of oils could you use? Can you think of another oil? Raise your hand and try to answer.
Olive oil?
Olive oil could definitely work. Can someone think of another oil? Ben, you got one? Let's see.
Canola oil?
Canola oil? Absolutely. That oil would work great too. So we got olive oil or vegetable oil, canola. There's a lot of different oils. Can you guys think of any other oils? Car oil? That may be hard unless it's brand new and it's nice and clean. All right. Did yours bubble stop?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you think of another experiment to do with this? Whoa, that's actually a lot of fun. So we're going to shake it and see what happens.
Can I put my
Okay. Whoa, that helps to make the colors mix. Yeah, then you get your colors. Now let's put it here on the table for everybody to see. All right, so once you get it mixed, but wait until the bubbles have all stopped, boys and girls, because we don't want a pressure to build up, okay? Then we can just let it do its thing. What's gonna happen, do you think?
I think everything will just sink down to the bottom.
Everything?
Like it happened over there.
What's everything, do you think?
And like the water and the dye.
Very good. The water will sink back down. This is a great little science craft, actually. So we're going to be able to put your name on it afterwards. Whoop, so you can take these home with you.
It's rising up
All
to
right.
my cover.
Let's go see what's going on over here. Are you guys really enjoying this? So the bubbles go up, but why does it come back down? Have you guys thought about that?
Because it gets heavier as it reaches the top.
Okay, it gets heavier when it reaches it. Can you say that again?
It gets heavier when it reaches the top.
Well, how does it get heavier?
So when it's going up, it's just one thing, and then when it comes down, it's more things.
You are very smart. Now, something happened when it gets to the top. Remember, what was the bubble made out of when it gets to
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide?
Mixes with air.
Very good. And so when it mixes the air, the carbon dioxide releases from the bubble, and now it's just water and food coloring, and it sinks back down. So you guys can shake these to see if you can get water and oil to mix, and after a little bit of time, it will go back and separate. This is good chemistry right here. How does it glow? Well, you can actually have to put your own light with it.
You know, Mr. Ryan, I really love how this reminds me of the memory verse. The bubbles that are going up are like the prayers that we say, and then when the bubbles coming down are like the blessings that we receive. Well, I think we're all out of time today for Creation Crafts. Thank you for joining us. Until next time.
All right. Yeah, you guys can put your name on it here. So you can remember for that. We can watch and see these things as they start to separate.
Tan and Teckle, number 2. Last time, we left Tan and Teckle homeless. It was dangerous for them to be running across the open grassland near the woods. However, they were fortunate not to be harmed. They came to a little creek, which they crossed on a long pole. The pole supported a water gate, swung there to keep cattle from wading down the bed of the creek and getting off the pasture. Turning up the right bank of the stream, they soon came upon a place which seemed to them an ideal spot. It was an old oak stump. Years and years before, one of the finest white oak trees in all that river bottom had stood there. But it had fallen by a woodsman's axe. For many years the stump had stood there in the rain and the snow, the frost and the warm sunshine, and change softening the wood and hastening the decay. But a solid oak stump will last for a very long time, even when exposed to all kinds of weather, so that the outside hull was still hard, tough wood, though the heart had softened and rotted away. The roots, too, had decayed at the center, and Tan soon found that no less than 3 of the large ones, spreading out in all the different directions, were hollow. Very slowly and cautiously, the timid little pair entered a little way into one of these hollow roots. Then, while Teckle sat near the entrance to sound a warning in case danger should appear, Tan crept on and on into the hollow stump to explore it. He was gone a long time, but Teckle was not uneasy, for she could hear him all the time, scrambling up and down through the stump, now and then trying his teeth on the wood to learn if it was strong enough to make a safe refuge, and yet so soft that he could make holes where necessary. Finally, Tan came scampering back. "There isn't a place in the whole world that's better," reported Tan, his eyes bright with excitement. "There is a great roomy hollow in the very middle of the stump, way down below the ground in the big tap root. There is a hole from the top, and there are 3 others, one through each of these long hollow roots. Did you ever dream of a nest in such a strong place with so many ways of escape? You see, field mice never think of how to fight, but only of how they may best escape if attacked. Then Tan took Tekel into the very heart of the old stump and showed her what a very strong and safe place it was. She agreed with him that it was the very best that they could ever hope to find, and they set to work on it. With their sharp, strong teeth, they chipped away the loose, decayed wood from the inside of the hollow in the middle. Then they set about carrying in soft grass, bits of leaves, and lint from last year's weeds. Tekel even found a nest from a bird that had been blown to the ground in the winter wind, from which she took a great store of moss and fur and feathers. When the large hollow had been filled with soft, warm lining, Tekel lay quietly inside and rested for the most part, while Tan chipped and chiseled and polished at the 3 long hallways through the 3 hollow roots until he had cleared all the rotten wood from them and had made them smooth and clean. The new nest they found was in a much better location than the old one. Right near them were several large trees, and the nuts of last autumn had fallen thickly on the ground and were still to be found by a little digging among the leaves. There were sweet-rooted plants and little shrubs with tender bark. By crossing back over the creek on the old water gate, Tan could run into the old cornfield beside which they had built their first nest, and could fill his mouth with grains dropped on the ground last autumn by the hurried harvesters. There were several days of this happy new life in the new home, and then came a time when Tekel did not stir from the nest. What was happening? Was she sick? Was she afraid? Check back next time to find out what is the matter with Tekel.